Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, I think there is a lot of speculation going on in the market. There are some rumors that Fed Chief Powell might come and cut the interest rate. So that has been juicing up the market for a day or so. At least that's what I saw on Bloomberg. And then, sorry about that. Then there's a rumor that there is talks going on between China and US. So US president has already said that he's having talks, and China has vehemently said there is no talks, this is fake news. So all of those things put together, there is a little bit of buoyancy in the market, but today we are seeing a little bit of negative. So I don't know which way it's going to go, but we are at some critical levels. I would like to start off the session as usual by going to our main dashboard, and here it is. It's our dashboard where we look at all our indicators. The first one out here for us is going to be the fear and greed indicator from CNN Money, and it shows significant improvement. We have come all the way out of extreme fear at around 8 to 33, so that's a good sign. Another good sign is that Alphabet's shares have outperformed because of strong revenue growth. There are some really significant headlines for Alphabet. It's a very low profile kind of CEO who achieves a lot, I think, with Sundar Pichai. You look at Waymo, it reports 250,000 paid robotaxi rides per week in the US. And they haven't got the kind of premium that Tesla is getting. I think Google is more of a AI and technology company than Tesla ever was. But they are not getting as much maybe because of the flamboyant style of the CEO. I don't know. And Alphabet says Waymo may offer robotaxis for personal ownership in future. Earlier, when we used to talk about Waymo, they used to say, oh no, it's limited and it costs a lot and you can't buy a Waymo car. Now that objection is also gone. So I'm thinking Google should do very well. It would contribute to a bit of positiveness in the market, but there are other sectors which are going to have to take the load to bring the index forward. I don't know if there is as much juice. There has been increased breadth in the market, a whole lot of investors coming back across the board and pushing the market up for the last 2 days based on those two rumors that I spoke to you about. I would say they are rumors because we don't have anything specific in hand. Powell has not done any indication. Let us see when Chairman Powell comes out and talks about any kind of rate cut. That's when I would believe it. Now, we also have news that Amazon and NVDA say AI data center demand is not slowing down. This is good news for NVIDIA shares, and it's also good news for the AI sector. However, Intel issues weak guidance, says it will slash expenses this year. Billions of dollars were poured into Intel, and somehow Intel has not been able to get its act together. I think the share is likely to face a lot of shorting. And then you have the next news article out here. Trump asserts trade talks with China are underway after Beijing denies any ongoing negotiation. In fact, Beijing has said this is all fake news, nothing is happening, and the phone is open, call us, and before you call us, just remove all the tariffs and then we can talk. So that's what Beijing has been saying. And then you also have this other news out here which says China may exempt some US goods from tariffs as costs rise, and China would do that on the sly. They may not make a big publication of it, but they would do something to help the domestic markets. And that's again a little bit of a good news for the market overall, because this shows on both sides people are kind of backing down. And also there is this exclusive from Bloomberg which talks about US seeks India trade deal on e-commerce, crops and data storage. I'm okay about e-commerce and data storage, but when it comes to crops, I don't think the Indian government will allow the subsistence farmers and poor farmers in India to go under based on allowing foreign crops to come into India. So that's one area where I think there might be a little bit of discontent. But anyway, we take a positive news that more countries are either adjusting to the situation or coming to the table to have a discussion. China vows to ready emergency plan signals calm amid trade war. This is again a good sign. Walmart to help China firms expand domestic sales amid trade war. We're going to see more of these things happening. If US becomes a very difficult area and the US purchasing power becomes less, let me assure you, corporates have got no loyalty to any country. They will just up and go where the business is. You can see the first example here. Walmart is going to use its knowledge of logistics and its IP on logistics to help domestic sales expand in China, and in the process it will get a percentage, because as far as businesses are concerned, all they are interested in is money. And unfortunately, the US Supreme Court allowed businesses to have a bigger say in policy. And as a result, we now talk about mega donors making decisions on which president to elect instead of one person, one vote. The more money you have, the more you can influence the government. And what the influence does is not in favor of the individuals or the citizens, it's in favor of the corporations and the mega interests. And as a result, US is where it is. Now, all these companies, like a group of locusts, they will just migrate to the next economy and repeat and rinse the same thing until they keep on depleting all the areas. That's the way I look at it. I might be a cynic, but please give me your feedback in the comment section. Apple aims to build most iPhones for US in India by end of 2026. So in this column, in this last column, you are seeing all the response that is there to this tariff spat with the US globally and with China. So there is a lot of adjustments taking place, and most of these adjustments are going to be long-term adjustments. So if US or some other country loses business, that's not coming back. And if US or other country makes a business arrangement somewhere else, that's not going away until the next big crisis like this. So that's what we have to keep in mind. And in this backdrop, if you go and have a look at the futures, you will see that we have got S&P 500 futures down 0.13% in pre-market trade. It is nicely stuck between the resistance above at 5530 and the earlier support below of 5504.50, which became a resistance yesterday in the evening. And now this is acting as a support. So I'm just going to mark this as a support for today. So for today, the support is going to be 5506. Right now we are at 5503. The next support for us today is going to be 5375. Our resistance is going to be at 5530.50, and the next resistance is 5552.00. So these are the resistances, and if we break these resistance, then I'm thinking that very much that there is enough strength in this market to go bullish. But right now it's very iffy. We'll see what happens when the market opens. With Nasdaq also, we have the same kind of a situation. We have this huge area of resistance above us, starting from somewhere around 19,558.75 to 19,760.25. That's the resistance, and our support is going to be out here at around 19,256.00. I'm going to mark this green. We converted that into a support yesterday. So those are the supports, and also this diagonal line of resistance becomes a diagonal line of support. MACD is really good. Momentum is flat here as well as in S&P 500. That's the only concern I have. The momentum has to pick up. Otherwise, it's not that great. Dollar index is also hovering just below $1. It's at 99.60. We'll take that any day. And then US 10-year has been reducing the yields, and that's a good sign. It's all coming back into equilibrium. So things are looking good, at least since the last 2 or 3 days. Whatever positive rumors we have been hearing has helped calm down the market. But if anything comes out of the White House, if Trump decides to say anything or any White House leak comes in, there is a good chance that all of this can change on a dime. So please keep that in mind. And then let us look at the USD Japanese yen, because very soon we may have some economic data from Japan. I have to go and look at the economic calendar and find out what it could be, maybe inflation reading or interest rate setting from the Bank of Japan. But right now we seem all in the clear. And then let us go and look at our indicators where we left them yesterday. Yesterday we left the indicators just below this line of resistance. It was a minor line of resistance. We have to see what happens this morning when the market opens. Are we going to have enough juice to break through this and then break through our diagonal line of resistance of 5599.50? If we do that, then all bets are off. We are into a bullish territory. If we don't do that, and if we bounce back from here, then our support is going to be 5379.94. So for today, what could happen is we could bounce from here and come down here and maybe come to this very important support level of around 5338.72, or we could go on top here, and from here we could bounce back here. This could become a minor line of support, and then we can bounce up again, or maybe come back down again to test this convergence of the diagonal line of support and the horizontal line at 5379.94 tomorrow. So those are all the possibilities out there. Now, as far as the MACD is concerned, it is bullish. Momentum is also above average. So S&P 500 is looking good out here. We'll see what happens in the futures. We saw we have a bit of a negative. Let us see how that evolves. And as far as the Nasdaq is concerned, it was also held by a diagonal line of resistance, which for today is going to be at 19,186.62. And our support is going to be, our first support is going to be at 18,818.09. The second support is very strong at 18,614.58. So if we manage to stay above this support line and break through this diagonal line of resistance, then our resistance for today is going to be 19,460.48. If we break above that, then actually we are starting to form higher highs and higher lows. So then we'll be watching whether we are forming a higher low or not. If we form a higher low, then we are on a bullish channel. MACD and momentum both are supporting it, but all of this, remember, is built on a bunch of rumors, nothing concrete. The Google earnings report definitely helps, but there are more earnings reports to come. We don't know what they are going to say. So be careful out there. Let's look at QQQ, which will give an idea of what's happening in pre-market. So in pre-market, QQQ is down 0.29. So we had this diagonal line of resistance out here. We ended up just below that. We have a small wick out here. I'm going to show you the small wick if I can. So as you can see, there's a small wick out here, and there's a gap between the resistance and the candle from yesterday. So for today, our resistance is still going to be 468.42. Our support is going to be 450.14. The next resistance for us is going to be at 491.47. We also could have a minor resistance. I'm going to draw a minor resistance out here. And change the color to orange so that this is the place where it could possibly hesitate. And if it stops here, okay. If it doesn't, then this is the actual resistance, 491.47. So this is the range in which I think QQQ may work today. As you can see, VIX for a change has been elevated in the pre-market. In the last 3 sessions, VIX was not elevated. It was very low in the pre-market itself. So this is one difference from yesterday to today. And then if you look at put call ratio, it's absolutely neutral out here. Gold has also given up some of its gains, and XLP is down. Somehow the market doesn't anticipate any kind of recession or stagflation. That's the way I would read it. Our reverse head and shoulders didn't materialize, so we got to let this go. I'll clean up the chart later on. Now let us go ahead and look at AI. So we have NVDA out here, and NVDA today in pre-market is up 0.08. It's struggling to break out above this resistance of 107.20, which will act as a resistance today. Our first support for today is going to be at around 106.04, and the next support for today is going to be 102.24. The first resistance is at 107.11, and that extends all the way up to 109.28. If we clear that region, then we are going to be still in the diagonal line of resistance of a bear channel. Let me draw that for you to show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So this is the diagonal line of resistance that we are looking at right now, which we have to overcome. So the resistance out here at 109.38 is pretty strong. So I would watch what happens. But the good news from the tech companies saying that there is no slowdown in infrastructure for AI, that helps NVIDIA. But it doesn't seem to have had much traction so far. Meta is up 2.64% in pre-market trades. And as you can see, we have a resistance at 549.78 and we have a support at 517.13. The next level of support for Meta, in my opinion, is going to be at 582.07. Sorry, next level of resistance is 582.07. So first resistance 550.55. Next resistance 580.05. Google has done extremely well. It's up 3.94% in pre-market trades, and it has converted a resistance at 164.49 into a support. It has opened up very high, gapped up, and it's right now today running at 167.61, and our first resistance for this today is going to be somewhere around 168.75, and the next resistance is at 169.16. So that area is going to be very difficult for Google to break through. But if it does, the challenges are not yet over, because we have another huge band of resistance starting from 172.81 going all the way to 175.46, waiting just above. And in terms of support, I think we have really good support at 164.69. That's going to perform the role of a support today. And I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping before moving ahead to the next stock. MACD and momentum are looking good out here. Amazon is up 0.56% in pre-market trades, and it has converted the horizontal line of resistance at 184.17 into a support for today, and resistance for today is going to be 191.54. MACD is looking good, but momentum needs to pick up. It's just at average. Well, let us see if it can manage to do that today. Apple is down 1.02% in pre-market trades, and we have a resistance at 207.27 for today. And the next resistance is going to be 218.56, and the support for today is going to be 199.16. MACD is looking good, momentum is also looking good, but pre-market action indicates that things are sliding a little bit for Apple. Microsoft is down 0.37% after a very good gain yesterday. Maybe a little bit of profit taking. We got stopped at this line of resistance at 387.35, but we still managed to push up a little bit, and we are given the gains up today. And for today, the resistance is going to be 387.35, which is the first level of resistance, and our support is going to be at somewhere around this line out here, which is at 379.96. This is the range in which I expect Microsoft to operate today. However, if it managed somehow to break through the resistance at 387.18, I'm thinking that the resistance at 400.06 is going to swing into action. I'm giving this higher resistance as well because the MACD is really good and momentum is also on the upswing. It's above average. That's the reason why I'm offering a little extra resistance out here. Tesla is up 0.82% in pre-market trades. It converted a resistance at around 256.65 into a support yesterday, and that is going to be the support for today. And the resistance for today is at 266.08 and 268.22. These are the twin resistances that we see here for Tesla. If it manages to break through that, then I'll come back with a little more lines of resistance. I had cleaned up the map, but I'll add new and delete the old support lines. We'll do that as we go ahead. MACD is good, momentum is also above average, so things are looking good for Tesla. And Oracle is down 0.36% in pre-market trade. It has converted a resistance at 135.59 into a support, so that's a positive. And it has got a resistance which is going to be at 142.94. So I have some news from Hot Dog. Hey Hot Dog, welcome, thanks for joining. Yeah, I'll look at Bitcoin also, and I'll give you my thoughts, and in the meantime please give your thoughts about Bitcoin as well and about the market rumors that I'm talking about. That will help me a lot. So with that said, Now let us go and have a look at the next stock, AMD. AMD is down 0.88%. MACD is bullish, but momentum has not yet been able to break out above the average level. So I'm a little bit circumspect about AMD, but I wouldn't go out and short it. We have our resistance at 96.13 for today, and we have our support at 88.13 today. So that's the range at which AMD is likely to operate. SMCI is up 0.11% today after a strong gain yesterday, during which it converted a resistance at 34.68 into a support, and that is going to be the support for today, and our resistance for today is going to be 43.07. So that's the range in which I think SMCI will operate today. Broadcom is down 1.41% after a handsome gain of 6.35% yesterday. So in the process, it converted a bunch of resistances into support, and the latest resistance that we have is somewhere around 186.41, whereas our price in pre-market is at 185.18. So our support for today is going to be 178.75. First resistance is 186.41. Second resistance is going to be 198.06. When it comes to Palantir, it's up 0.16% in pre-market trades. It has converted a resistance at 101.40 into a support, and it has got a resistance at 125.22. So that's the range in which I think Palantir is going to trade. And let's look at the target that we had there. Our target was 126.01. Let's see if it manages to meet those targets. Then we have the semiconductor in the ETF SMH, which was up 5% yesterday. Pre-market it's down 1.13%, indicating a kind of weakness in the semiconductor sector. We'll have to see whether that remains when the market opens. The support is going to be at 201.23, which was a resistance yesterday, but it's a support today. And our resistance, I would say, I would like to draw a minor line of resistance, and I think it's going to be somewhere out here. So this, I think, is going to be the minor line of resistance for us. Let me color that orange. That could be a spot of hesitation. MACD, momentum, both are looking good. And then I'm going to look at Tempus. There you go. That is Tempus. Hot dog, I hope you're making good money with Tempus. Tempus has broken through another line of resistance and gone into a bull channel. I'm going to color this as green as a support. And for today, the support for Tempus AI is going to be at 52.14. Sorry, around 52.10, something in that range. And the resistance is going to be somewhere around 59.50. That's the range I'm looking at. And if we break down below this support, then there's a support at around 43.11. So that's the kind of range I'm looking at for Tempus AI. And yeah, that brings me to an end of our analysis section. Now I'm ready for some interaction with our audience, whoever is online at this point of time. So Hot Dog, any news from you while I look at Bitcoin? Let's go to currencies. Let's look at Bitcoin USD. Yes, Bitcoin is blasting off. This looks good to me. It's at 94,000. I'm thinking that it has got to go further. There's a whole bunch of resistance out here for Bitcoin. I'm going to color them red because now they are relevant. We had not updated this chart in a while. I'm going to make the pixels also a little thick so that you can see it clearly. So these are all the resistances. We have one at 95,917. We have another at 99,286.67. And we have got one more at 101.327. I'm still holding IBIT with me. I'm going to hold on for a while. I think one of the underrated cryptocurrencies, which I'm starting to look on more and more, is Ripple. Banks are already using it for transferring money. So in the future, instead of wire transfers and other things, I'm thinking Ripple will do instant transfer at a much lower cost and much faster pace with less complications. So if that takes off for real, then I think it will go well. I believe Reserve Bank of India is already using it. I'm still in the process of studying and understanding it because I started looking at Ripple only day before yesterday. So once I have more information, I'll bring it to you guys. But Bitcoin is looking really good. MACD is bullish. Momentum is also above average. And you know what? Bitcoin can go up further. So we have, I'm going to draw this line of resistance out here on the RSI chart. So on the RSI, we can go all the way up to 84 at least. So there's plenty of room. So I'm going to watch this. I'm going to have my IBIT. My IBIT is still in place. I'm not selling it in any way. I'm going to hold on at least until 99,000. So that's what I'm thinking out here. I'm going to just add XRP out here for you. XRP USD. Coinbase. Oh, we already have that here. Okay, let's go to XRP. Where is XRP? Maybe it's in the crypto section. Let's go. I have a crypto watch list as well. Oh. So I don't know where it is. Let me just add it for our sake. XRP, USD, Coinbase, add. Here you go. So we have XRP out here. I'm watching XRP very carefully. Now, this happens to be a major line of support and major line of resistance for the last few days. Today it's acting as a support. Let me also just increase the size of this, recalibrate the chart and come back to it again. So what do we see out here? We have, oh man. So I'm looking at this line out here. I'll pull out this diagonal line and adjust it a little bit. So this is my diagonal line out here. Just let me clone this and see if we can have a perfect parallel. A perfect parallel is always better. Okay, so let us assume that this is the parallel bear channel in which we were moving. Now we have just moved up above it. So this is why I'm very interested. I would like it to go up higher and start creating a higher high and higher low on this sector out here. So there are a few more days before I can decide on XRP, but I want to see XRP riding on this diagonal line of support. And if that happens, I'll definitely go in. I would probably sell a little bit of IBIT and use that money to go for XRP. For that, I'll have to go into the crypto Coinbase account and do something like that, but I'm willing to do that. Keep it in the exchange and be happy with that. So that's what I am thinking. And Hot Dog is saying, I'm in green for sure with Tempest, but I wish I could pick up more cheaper. Yeah, Hot Dog, one of the things I have learned, which I want to share with you for your consideration, is that when I have a good deal, I try to put more on it. That's how I got stuck with FNGD. I got stuck with FNGB, but I waited 8 months and came out with profits. Now I'm stuck badly with FNGD, and I think I'll have to wait for another 8 or 9 months to get out of it. So I have done that mistake. I just wanted to share it with you. You know your own strengths, weaknesses, your track record. You decide what you want to do with that information, but that's my personal lesson. So I'm trying to avoid doing that, like putting all my eggs in one winning basket, because if things change suddenly, then you go all at once. So we have to start taking profits as well. So this year, I'm very happy to say that I have been taking profits. Last year, I had seen a lot of accrued gains and other things on my trading accounts throughout the year, but at the end of the year I didn't have that much profits. But this year, in one of my portfolios, I have profit of $6,000+. In another, I have profit of $2,000+, and in another, I have profit of $1,200, and in yet another, I have a loss of $1,200. These are all realized, whereas on the portfolio itself, all the portfolios are in the red. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my profits as and when I get it and accumulating it for the end of the year. And at the end of the year, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my worst performing stocks, which have got no promise for coming up, and I'm going to sell them in order to save my taxes on the gains that I have made. So at the end of the year, maybe I'm running to stay in the same place, or maybe I have got more profits, and I've also reduced my tax on the profits, and my portfolio is up. One of the two things could happen. So that's what I'm working towards. But as you know, all these things need discipline. We are not like a fund house or something. So as a retail investor, we get distracted, we lose our confidence and willpower and other things from time to time, and we get off the track. So I have a lot of strategies and I end up not following them. That's my personal weakness. I need more discipline, but at least on the technical analysis front, I'm getting more confidence. So I'm happy with that. So friends, that's all from me for today. And I'm thinking that today is going to be very tricky because we have two rumors. One is that this is what I saw in Bloomberg, that Fed Powell may reduce the rates, and that's one of the reasons why the markets are bouncing. The second one is Trump trying to say that there is a talk going on with China, and China saying that there is no talk at all, remove the tariffs and we'll talk. And then on the sly, what is happening is China is putting on a little bit of support for its companies by reducing the tariffs on some of the imports of semiconductors. So all of these things are happening in the background. No one really knows what's happening. So if any news comes out from any party or anything, that could push down the market or spike it up like anything. So overall, I think the entire economy and the financial sector is like a dog's breakfast. It's really bad, but there is all kind of speculations going on. So it's a purely speculatory market. VIX is also elevated. So we got to be careful. With that, my friends, I'd like to end this video. Thanks and have a great day, and bye for now.